Hey guys, and welcome back to the Guest Ledger with me, Gabriel. Every episode, I sit down with someone new and I ask them the same opening question. If your life so far was a single page in a ledger, what would it say? No script, no prep. We just talk and see where their page ends up. Today's guest is Shivam, someone I've known for years and one of my best friends.
How's it going?
Hey Shivam, how are you today?
Good, man. How are you? Enjoying your summer?
Enjoying my summer. I'm in the beautiful Bath and will be for the next couple weeks. And then I'm off to the cold north of Scotland. But there we go.
Scotland, okay.
Absolutely.
What business do you have
Right.
there?
I'm doing a master's in AI, mate. But
Like it. Next chapter.
that will be the next chapter. But currently we're here. And
Fun
I've got a
stuff. I like
question
it.
to ask you, mate.
Shoot.
So the question is, if your life up to this point was a single page in a ledger or a book, what would it say? What would be
Life
the
was a
little keynotes?
single page.
Yeah. What would be the highlights, the
Single.
key points?
Okay, I like this. So I think in this page, I'd have to go 3 paragraphs, I think. I feel like I've
Okay.
had 3 distinct phases of life. You
Mm-hmm.
got your primary school, sort of early conscious, that sort of. Then about year 5, year 6 to, I'm going to say start of sixth form, where you're
Mm-hmm.
sort of learning how the world works and such.
Yeah.
And then the last chapter would be sort of sixth form and uni onwards, where I feel like I'd say from the age of around 17, that sort of time onwards, I think that's when we fully formed conscious. And
Okay.
I think one reason I'd justify this is that I feel since turning 18, right, I still feel like mentally 18. Every other year
Okay.
before that is kind of your birthday is this kind of landmark, and there's probably something that you can do when you reach that year that you couldn't do
Mm-hmm.
before. For example, when you're 17, you can learn to drive. When you're 15, you can go to the movies and watch as like a scary film, whatever. But when after
Yeah.
you're 18, you can sort of do everything. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't. There's no sort of landmarks to make you feel older. So I feel same as I did
Feel
when I
18
was,
still.
18.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah.
Okay. And what would each of these chapters say? So I guess the first one might say very little because you don't really remember it. It might just be fun time. But let's just go to the most recent one. Like what would maybe a sentence in it say? Or what would
It's
Okay.
tricky.
Let's open with, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? What if you had 8 hours of free time would naturally gravitate towards you?
8 hours in a day. That's tricky. I would say this year,
Hmm.
assuming that's the time period we're working with,
Yeah.
has about is about me trying to land on my feet. I would say because I would say sort of relates to my previous point about aging, but spending your entire life in education means that there's always a next natural step. But having spent the last year graduated and finding what I think a lot of other graduates are struggling with is just looking for work. It is it's tricky. I won't lie, and I think
Hmm.
yeah, it's about getting back on track, or at the very least, getting back into a routine that you never had to worry about before because it was there for you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah,
something on the
exactly.
lines about getting back on my feet, I'd say.
Okay. And one thing I'm going to bring up that you told me is that you're an extra in the new Spider-Man film. How was
Yes, I
that?
am.
Was that good fun?
That was good fun. And it was, well, I think it was very surreal, obviously, because
hmm
you are this close to some very famous people. And another thing was, it is my first ever extras gig. So a few of my friends basically at uni were like, "Oh, you should sign up to this extras agency. They find you the work, take 20%." And yeah, and I think you sort of you go, "Oh, okay, well, maybe I'll land a thing on the odd TV show here and there." But my first one being Spider-Man, I didn't sort of know what to expect really. And I think as a first extras experience, that's as cool as it gets because the production budgets in these Marvel films are ridiculous. I mean, there was in our first scene, we were having to do a lot of takes but standing still. So they literally had someone whose job it was to come around and give all the extras blankets, and that's like you just wouldn't find that on other film sets. I feel that's a very something
Yeah.
only like the Disney money could really do. But yeah, in terms of one thing that I would say surprised me about it is that there is a lot of waiting around and doing nothing. I was on it for one day,
hmm
and you sort of we only did I think two scenes that day. One of them took about two
Okay.
hours, the other took about four or five, and it is literally just the same action, maybe changing up a bit here and there, but it's very repetitive. But I think you sort of
Yeah.
find a
So
rhythm, and
how long would the scene be?
yeah.
Like, are we talking like a minute or?
In terms of when it's in the final cut,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would say roughly the scenes that I was in one of the was one where the Spider-Man and Hulk are walking across the courtyard, and then it cuts to a close-up, and I'm in both of those.
hmm
And I think you're probably right. It's about a minute and a half of screen time, those two scenes together. But that was from a full day's filming, so
Yeah.
it does give you a
So,
sense of scope as to
and how long these films
just
take, right?
condensed.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, and how much money go
Okay.
into them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So that was a good first experience, and hopefully
Uh-huh.
you get some more. Have you been hit up by any more?
Absolutely.
Looking for some more. Yeah, nice.
Well, you know the nature of the business. I can't. Some of the ones that are not out yet, let's say, I can't
You can't
say what I've been
disclose.
in yet. But
Okay, well,
no.
I'm
But as
sure
Spider-Man
people will
is
be
out, I can now talk about that.
nice. I'm sure people will be looking forward
Yeah,
to
they'll see
your
me around.
future work. Nice. Okay. And now let's go to just since you're the first friend that I've had on this podcast, let's talk a little bit about how we met, if you remember. I don't really, in terms of one moment where we met, but it was a secondary school. I want to say
Mm-hmm.
the first time we really got to know each other was in English class, um,
Yeah.
in maybe year 8, 9, something like that.
Year nine. Yeah. Year nine, I
Year
believe.
9. Uh, what were your first impressions of me, maybe, and how have they changed throughout our friendship?
Well, I don't know how to phrase this,
You can
but
be pretty brutal, mate. If that's
well, it's tricky because I think when when we first met, obviously, I'd say we first properly were introduced at school. We had the odd
hmm
um, tennis sort of like summer thing
yeah.
beforehand. So for context, me and Gabriel would play as part of our local tennis group. We would do these summer camps in the summers, and the
hmm
the good thing about them is that people of various skill levels could partake, and it was
Yeah.
very clear that some of us were here for a laugh, and others were a bit more involved with the tennis. And I think having that in the back of my mind when I knew in those first 2 years of school, I've only got that one experience of you going, "Oh, we played tennis," and he was taken a bit seriously, you know. But I do think that all begins to change in Yeah, well, in GCSE English, and I think part of that is we the sense of humor we hit it off immediately like that. I think, and
Hmm.
also we had an English teacher in year 9 that we were all quite fond of, and then we got another teacher in year 10, and we all preferred the one before. So as a way of coping with our new teacher that we didn't like as much, we would just crack jokes and sort of looking back, it was quite no, I'm not malicious, but we really did take it far into sort of how much we can get
Some
away
very
with, I
memorable
guess.
moments in that
Absolutely.
you probably wouldn't happen in a higher year group.
No, but I think it's fair to say that that rapport we established early on has is still a big part of our friendship now. It's about
Hmm.
maybe in when well, sometimes to our detriment, but maybe when things are getting a bit too serious, we always seem to just laugh our way out of it, or find something to
Well, I
to
think,
make light
yeah,
of, I
that's a
suppose.
pretty good trait to
Yeah,
have. I don't think you should ever take something that seriously. Maybe that's bold from
100%.
me, given that I take tennis pretty seriously. But there we go.
Yeah,
Okay,
different
so
leagues.
let's talk about your next step. So uni. What did you do? Where did you go? And what was maybe like one highlight you had, one experience or one memory that stood out?
Okay, that's a great question. And basically, so I did film studies at the University of Warwick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was the only uni that I ever visited in sixth form when there were open days and stuff. Um, and I knew, looking at the league tables and stuff, that it was going to be the best in the country for film or whatever. So that was a big plus. But actually showing up there and getting to see the campus for myself, I was kind of like, okay, this is the one. And
Yeah.
I'm very happy that I made my choice because it was a fantastic time. And one memory that stands out to me is in first year, um, probably only a month or so of living in this new accommodation where I only just sort of got to know everyone around me. I believe it was the week of Halloween. I woke up one night at 4 a.m. to half my flat at my door, and I was sort
Okay.
of a bit taken aback because a lot of my friends were on the floor above, and they'd come downstairs to wake me up. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, it's 4 a.m. At this point, not really far beyond my bedtime, so it wasn't completely out of the ordinary. But I was okay. What's going on? And they were like, "Shiv, wake up! The entire building is flooding." And I was like, "What?" Um, uh, yeah, because you're a bit out of it. You wake up, you go, "Really?" And I walked out. My corner of the apartment was fine because I was sort of raised. It was a bit of bad architecture there, I think. But then I start to walk around my corridor. And I just see about 6 inches of water seeping into people's rooms. People like upset in the kitchen in tears. Uh, people's electronics drying on the tables and stuff. And I was just like, wow, this is, you know, this could ruin my day if it was my room. Luckily, it wasn't, so I wasn't too
And
fussed.
what was
But
that from? Was
it
that
makes
from
you
a
think.
pipe or the rain?
It was the exact cause is still unknown, but one of the rooms on the second floor, someone's sink came off the wall. We don't know if it was by force. We don't know if it was like just weak engineering, but the sink came off the wall and the water was gushing out and just wouldn't stop. I remember one guy took his shirt off and tried to wrap it around the sort of burst pipe to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't help. Um, and it was a whole ordeal. Like we had to move out there for a month while they repaired the thing. You had to get new carpet in. I do remember the smell. That was bad. Um,
Wow.
But it
A
was
month is a long time, especially you've only
a
been
month
there
is a
for a
long
month,
time.
right? So that's
Yeah,
like as long as you've been
one
there.
month. Yeah, exactly. But I definitely think it helped us bond a little bit more because we, we were all sort of united in not necessarily grief because, like I said, my room was fine, but a lot of people had their stuff like ruined and had to get insurance, and like it was a fun chapter, and I think had I shown that to my parents, and I think they would worry, right? They'd be like, "Oh my God, where have we sent him?"
Yeah, yeah,
But I know I think it's one of those things where because it was such a new and exciting time for me, like I was making new friends every day. I was out all the time. I
yeah,
sort of took it in my stride and used it as an opportunity to get closer with my flat.
exactly. These are the type of
Yeah,
experiences. They're not pretty much always the worst ones are the ones that you make the best connections with. Just like our English
exactly.
teacher in year 10, huh?
Oh mate.
Also, that is not where I thought the story was going when you said you had friends outside your door. Could have gone could have gone in a
Oh
magnitude of directions there. But a flood was
well,
definitely a little bit of a twist.
that's the element of surprise. Yeah,
It's just your storytelling.
appreciate it, man.
Okay.
What about you? Can I ask you the same question?
You can ask me the same question. The question,
Yeah.
okay. I went to Bath Uni and I'm actually still in the city, trying to cling on to the last moments of, of where I came and matured pretty heavily. I did computer science and AI, which I enjoyed, and I'm doing a master's in the same sort of topic next year in Edinburgh, so I must have enjoyed it at least somewhat. And the one memory, oh my goodness. Okay,
It's tricky, isn't it?
it is tricky. I would I would honestly say my kind of favorite memory happened at the start of this year. And favorite is because of what it led to, not so much because of in the moment it was great, but it was like an act of confidence that led to some pretty fun times. And it was joining my
Nice,
first dance class in Freshers Week
nice.
of my final year. And me and my housemates joined it as a complete joke. We did archery, we did trampolining, and we did a few others as just a complete piss take because it was our final year in Bath and we'd known each other for several years and we were like, let's just do some random stuff. And then dance just kind of, I met another group of people who were brand new. And that's the thing about uni societies is it's so much easier to join something really weird or like that you haven't done before because everyone's going to be new. Whereas you go to town and I joined a dance class and I probably wouldn't have liked it as much, right? Because everyone would have been pretty good
Mm.
and it would have been a different experience. But yeah, that complete embarrassment of like being completely unable to move my body in a way to music, but it being fine because 70 other people in the room are in the same position. And then
Yeah,
yeah, I just stuck with it, and that's led to some pretty memorable moments throughout the year. So that's probably my favorite moment of randomness throughout the year this year. Yeah.
I like that. It's sort of like I guess, a testament to something that I don't think you'd find in school. Is I think if you were to join a dance class in school, you'd sort of
Mhm.
you'd consistently hold that view that it's this sort of you're doing it for a laugh and it's maybe not sort
Yeah.
of well respected. But I
Mhm.
think you saying that you went to uni and pretty much, I guess, had your mind changed after just one session almost.
Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly.
where before I think that's why I think that's one thing uni does so well, and it's obviously a big part of us just being mature. But the idea that no hobby is uncool or lame or like
Mhm.
a joke, really. Like they're all
Yeah.
there's something there for everyone, and it's I think that's very beautiful.
Yeah. If you told first year me that I would be picking dance over tennis on a day-to-day basis, I
Yeah,
would be having serious words with myself. But we
yeah,
change, so that's how it
we
happens.
do.
Okay, so also you've become a little bit of a photographer or videographer in your spare time. You've done a little
Yeah.
shoot for me, little
Yes.
tennis professional shoot, uh, and I think you've done a couple of car shoots for another friend
Yeah.
who
Mm-hmm.
is pretty obsessed with some cars they've bought, even though they might not be to my taste. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
how's that been going? How is that still as fun for you as when you started? Or
Um, to be honest, I think when we did that shoot and I was doing stuff purely for fun,
mm-hmm.
I think that's when I got the most enjoyment out of it because I wasn't necessarily motivated by money, and I think the creativity
Mm-hmm.
comes first. And I still enjoy it now. Like I still go out and like if I go on holiday or going out somewhere, or occasionally I'll just drive up by somewhere and get just if I fancy shooting something. Um, but I would say that doing those sort of things with completely no expectation of where they'd go. Like when we did that, obviously there was an intention to post it to your social media, maybe, but
Mm-hmm.
there's no, it's not about trying to go viral or trying to make money from it. It's just experimenting with the camera, and I think that's still what I love the most about it is trying something new. I think
Mm-hmm.
now as time's gone on, I've looked at it more as how I could make a career out of it, which I think is practical, but also, yeah, it does take the passion out of it sometimes. But for
Yeah.
example, that tennis shot we did, someone saw that video, and that helped me land a gig where I did a shoot for this paddle player recently, and
Nice. Okay.
I only got that role because they had seen the video of you with the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
playing tennis, and yeah, there's transfer over there. So
Nice.
when you go in making stuff with literally no expectation, these are the kinds of uh, the reward you get for it, I guess, almost.
Yeah. One thing I want to ask you then, you said you're probably going to enjoy it less if you're trying to make money out of it, which I would
Yeah.
agree with. But would you agree with the idea of making your hobby a career? Or would you prefer to keep a hobby a hobby? Like, so if you had a guaranteed job that you could do 8 hours a day that's, let's say, random, would you want that to be random or would you want that to be videography?
It's tricky. I think videography specifically, I would say no, actually, I think, because the trouble is that a lot of it would be client based, and
Mm-hmm.
you'd often find maybe a tricky customers to deal with. You're also getting paid for your time now, so there's no, like when we did our shoot, there was no time pressure, there was no expectation of what you wanted, what would look cool. Um, Whereas I'd have to be thinking about all those things because I'd be getting paid for their time almost. So I think that's what would stress me out. I
Mm-hmm.
think if we were to go a level beyond videography and do actual like proper cinematography,
Mm-hmm.
that would also be stressful. But I think that is like the pinnacle of, you're not just making social media content there, you're actually making proper art. So I think
Yeah.
if it was a little bit different and it was just full on movie making, I'd 100% do that as a job because it's like the saying, is it? If you enjoy your work, you never work a day in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that'd be more applicable for something like cinematography, whereas I feel like videography is kind of just a step there, or kind of. I don't think it's like an
Something you do on the
ultimate
side
goal.
occasionally.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not saying
yeah.
that a lot of people obviously make lots of money from it and like love it, but for me, I kind of see it as this stepping stone.
Okay, nice. And how? I'm pretty sure the cinematography world is pretty exclusive to get into, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's 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 the main few people, and then not much else, right? Unless you
Hmm.
have a really wondrous indie film that's super rare.
Yeah, you're completely right. And I think it's becoming more possible now. There was the recent horror film that came out, Obsession, one of the
Hmm.
most financially successful movies ever. I think it made 400 million on like a 1 million budget. That was
Hmm.
directed by a guy who basically does TikTok videos. Similarly, the Backrooms. I don't know if you've
Hmm.
seen that, but the director of that was only 20 years old. He got his start by making these backroom animations on Blender, and then a year or so later, he's directing his own feature. So that's definitely a way to go. I think it certainly beats the traditional thing of becoming a runner, then a camera assistant, and then working your
Yeah.
way up.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, but I guess the question is, what can you bring to the table that gets you your big break like that? Like these two examples, you've
Hmm.
got to have something really cutting edge. Um, and I think understanding the way uh, social media and how like filmmaking is moving is one thing, but having the skills to actually make it is a whole
Yeah.
other ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And what would you say is your favorite film of the last that's been made that's was made in the last 10 years, let's say?
Last 10 years. That's tricky. Off the top of my head, yes. Okay, I'm gonna go with a film called Babylon.
Okay.
Actually, do you know what? Scrap that because it's just in the 10 years. I'm gonna say La La Land.
It's, and what kind of hits you about La La Land? Is it the characters, the production quality, the story? What connected with you about it?
So I think first of all, I love movies about movies. Um, La La Land's one, Babylon, same director as another example.
Hmm.
But have you seen La La Land? Yeah.
I have seen La La Land.
Yeah. So for quick premise, people who haven't seen it, it's about an aspiring musician and an aspiring actress, and a conflict between do they choose their love for each other or their careers. Um, and I think just because for me, obviously, film is what I've pursued academically and what I love. I think it paints the way it paints Emma Stone's character's like love for film and being in LA, which is sort of the film capital of like the Western world. It's done in such an incredibly colorful, beautiful way. Another thing is it's a musical, but it's not sort of overbearing. Like I think I find musicals quite a like almost obnoxious genre a lot of the time. But the I think because it just comes off as so earnest and um like a real genuine like effort to communicate this love for film. I think it does it really well. Um, and just this yeah, I think it's especially in a city with like LA, which has such like cultural significance to film. It almost feels like a love letter to like the past 50 years of filmmaking or whatever. And it's just a very great time. And as you said, production quality, I think it only had its budget was on the smaller side, I'd say, but what they were able to do with a relatively small budget is nothing short of incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely probably that's a great start to a sentence.
Definitely, probably,
it's it's definitely in my top 10 films, I would say, La La Land.
yeah, yeah.
And my second favorite film is actually on your poster behind you. It's It's a Wonderful Life from ages ago,
Hey,
but that's my second favorite movie. That one, it's just it's a nice watch, right?
yeah,
It has a lesson. It's black and white, which isn't really a turn off. It's a turn off for a lot of my friends. If I ever say, I think I've suggested It's a Wonderful Life to maybe 10 people, and 8 people have just said no because it's black and white. And I think that's quite a
yeah.
shame. But
I
Yeah.
agree. I find it's yeah, I do think, especially nowadays, it has a lot of markers which would put you off it. One of them being it's black and white, the other being
Hmm.
it's a Christmas film, so you expect it to be sort of overly sentimental, which it is,
Exactly. Yeah.
and it's it always it always provokes a strong emotional reaction out of me whenever we watch it. Um, it's also quite, um, I'd say it gets quite political at times. It's quite religious, but none of these
Hmm.
things ever put me off it. I think it is just a genuine, beautiful story about a man who, for those who haven't seen it, it's basically about a man who considers jumping in a river one Christmas, like during a particular hardship, and it's up to an angel to convince him that life is worth living and how much of a positive effect he's brought for the local town. And I think for such a universal film, like I really think anyone from and like teenagers upwards can enjoy this film. I think it's a really it's got a big appeal, but I think one thing that is becoming more particularly relevant now is just that what George Bailey has back then, we would now call that like depression, I guess. Like
Hmm.
there's an element of mental health, and I think when he's looking over that bridge, like it's a very, very like dark scene, and I think sometimes it's easy to forget that because the film itself is quite, at the end of the day, it's a Christmas film, and it's quite, sentimental and etc. But it really, I think it really goes to those dark places
Hmm.
to sort of get you to provoke such a strong reaction from you, and I think it does it very successfully.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Well, I wouldn't say my favorite Christmas film, but one of my favorite films. I wouldn't.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
I think
it's
Christmas
beyond a
film is
Christmas film.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about some films. Let's talk about
Mhm.
some other forms of media that have had an influence in your life, or you've learned
Mhm.
lessons from, or just found fun. So let's maybe talk about some games or music. So take your pick.
Sweet. Okay. How about I pick and you start us off? Yeah.
Okay, go on then. Sounds good.
Cool. All right. Let's talk about games then. Let's talk about video
Okay,
games.
sure. So games that I've played the most. So my first game that I got, and I remember being, what year was it? I think 2016, and I just got my Xbox One for Christmas, and I got a game that just came out on it called Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2. And this is my
I'm
first
aware.
game, first shooter game, uh, and I was super excited. Had the whole family around, and I couldn't stop playing it in the living room. Luckily, everyone was happy having it as some background TV, so I wasn't. I was the alternative to maybe like the normal Christmas movie, but
Yeah.
that was probably the game I had the most fun on. Right, I didn't have any like expectation. It wasn't a like super competitive multiplayer game. I didn't get serious about it. It was just like a fun thing to do, and I never got angry at it, right? Whereas I think
Mhm.
every game after that, I reached an age where I started taking things a bit seriously, and I think that's also what I did with tennis. I think
Mhm.
I kind of had that personality as a teenager and going into like first year uni. So I think after that, I played the typical competitive multiplayer games, so Rainbow Six Siege, Overwatch, Rocket League, and they're all like rank based, competitive. And then like you got two sides, right? Like, do you play the game for fun with friends, or do you play the game to rank up, right? And then I
Mhm.
think after maybe like 3-4 years of playing games to rank up and getting angry with friends when they piss about, I think I've realized it's really not about the rank because I'm not gonna be seriously good at it anyway.
Mhm.
Uh, so that's kind of my journey with games.
Yeah. I think it almost comes back to what we were saying earlier about when you reach a certain age, things aren't no longer cool or not cool. It loses that
Hmm.
peer pressure element, and I think a big part
Exactly.
of the reason why we compete is to be better than our peers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's all good playing Overwatch or Siege, but you don't want to be the guy on the team that is the dead weight. You know, you want to bring something to the table. You want your friends to go, "Oh wow, like good shot" or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that does sort of dissipate I think when you realize there's that switching point where you're never going to make it pro because it's the same like
Yeah.
any other
Yeah.
sport, right? You kind of almost know early on whether you've got like the source. So it's more about socialization, I think, now more than anything. The main thing is you're
Exactly.
there with your friends playing games. It doesn't really matter how good you are because you're just having a fun time.
Exactly. I Yeah. There were so many mornings where I got up early for Rainbow Six Siege to
Yeah.
play with play with one of our really good friends, and I climbed so much. And then in the evening of that same day, this was like a weekly occurrence, right? On a Sunday morning, woke up, played with a good friend, ranked up, and then played with a group of five for fun and just ranked down and made no progress and just spent a good few hours of my day doing that. But I don't really regret it. It was fun. It's made me friends for life. So
Yeah.
I think there's positives
100%.
to anything. Yeah. What's your favorite game?
Favorite game. It's tricky, isn't it? It's not.
Let's do two. Let's do two. Let's do favorite
Let's do.
game
Yeah.
with other people, and then favorite game if you could only play it by yourself.
Okay.
Because I think that certainly changes my answer
It
quite a
does.
lot.
Yeah, me too. I think. Oh, would I enjoy playing this by myself? No. Okay. All right. By myself, I'm gonna say. I think this is where this is the easier one to answer because
hmm
it's a bit more like an art experience, like going to watch a film or whatever. I'm
Okay.
gonna say Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii.
hmm Okay.
Uh, that's uh, that's a single player platformer game. Um, but I think I mean, other than it just having some of the most fun like level design and platforming I've ever seen, I particularly like. I think as a kid, you go through interests like space or dinosaurs or whatever, and I think Mario
hmm
Galaxy, its sort of idea of different levels being galaxies and having the observatory as like a lobby was just so well done, and the atmosphere is unlike. I don't think I've played a game that has made me feel that sort of like loneliness in the cosmos. It's a
Okay.
very specific thing I'm looking
Nice.
for
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's why I'd say Mario Galaxy. And in terms of with other people, it's tricky. I was initially gonna say Overwatch just because of how much time I've sank into it, but
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Minecraft. I think
Okay.
it's almost cheating. It's more of a like social experience than a game these days. I feel like
hmm
the but it is the of all the games, it is the biggest constant in my life. I think since I would say properly since about 2014, there's always been the 2 week Minecraft phase where all your
2 week
friends jump
Minecraft
back on.
phase. Exactly.
And I think it's funny, like how I think when you play as a kid, you sort of go, oh my God, like you remember when you find your first diamonds or whatever. But now when we come back to play, it's like within 3 days, we would have got full gear. We would have found everything, killed the drag. Like we are much better at it. But again, I think it's loading in with your friends and being presented with a new opportunity to simultaneously be creative, but also have that element of challenge. Maybe, oh, this time
Yeah.
we'll play on hard mode, or this time we'll. I think there was a world we did where we didn't eat meat as part of the challenge. We did it
Yeah.
in six, or I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it is just so consistently fun. And I'm only talking about one game mode here. It also has creative, which is like just a playground for your like ideas, really. But there's just so
Yeah,
much you
it's
can do.
nice.
I think it's almost a cheat answer because it is a sandbox game. So a big part of it is what you make of it. But yeah, in terms of a game that's given me that much flexibility and opportunity to do whatever I want and have like the best time with my friends, it's Minecraft every time.
Hmm. Yeah, I would. I'm on the fence as well for a multiplayer game. I'm
Yeah.
on the fence between Overwatch and Minecraft. I would say, in terms of peak enjoyment, I would say Overwatch reached it for me. When we used to have more than two, three people play, we used to have actually five, six people,
Hmm.
and it was full communication. Everyone was like semi locked in, semi joking. Because Overwatch has such a cool way of needing your teammates. Like
Hmm.
Minecraft, you can happily go off and do your own thing. Like there's always that one guy who goes off in a mine by himself and emerges like three
Hmm.
weeks later with everything. But
Yeah.
Overwatch, I feel like you need to communicate, um,
Hmm.
and it's just like a huge teamwork experience, right? I think I really liked it when it was like that, and you had every role in your party. They were all your friends, and it was.
Mm.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
It's also like kind of remarkable how but at the end of the day, what do you get for improving that game? You just get a better rank. But I was
Yeah,
so determined to get better at that game. It was, you know, it was one thing playing and doing warm ups, but then sometimes I would look at my my own gameplay. I would look at YouTube
yeah,
videos on how to improve.
yeah,
We would like practice. We do aim training before we played. There was a serious drive to getting better at it, and no other game has made me want to improve as much as Overwatch.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I remember you telling me to submit one of my games to this streamer, and then I
Yeah,
woke up at like 4 a.m. to watch it live, and it was on the least skillful character. It was on Moira. For those of you who know, it's a character that requires no aim, and there's no like abilities that are really that good. So it's
yeah,
kind of just a nothing character. But I was so obsessed with doing everything perfectly and like memorizing every map, right? Like I could have done so many other things with that level of determination, but I picked Overwatch. And I think this also segments me to another question that I think is really important. Like the reason I wanted to get better at Overwatch wasn't because I wanted to get better at Overwatch. It was because I wanted my friends to think I was good at Overwatch. And I
hmm,
think that's what's kind of changed. I've now found passions that I would do without anyone watching, right? And I
yeah,
think like that's a really like powerful question to ask yourself when you're doing something like, do I care to do this well for myself, or do I care more about other people watching me do it well? And I think that's kind of something that shifted. I don't know if you connect with that and something that you've done.
it's tricky, and I think I'm struggling to give an answer because I don't want to sort of come off as egotistical. But I think you're
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
right. So much of it is about being better than someone else. I
yeah.
think
Mhm.
for me, um, because I didn't have like I would say like a physical hobby like
Mhm.
tennis or a sport,
Yeah.
um, and I had a lot of hours on this game.
Yeah.
I I think I had to have this. Like it was very important for me to be good at this because if I wasn't good at this one thing that I spent all this time at, then
Mhm.
what was I good at? And obviously there are plenty of things that like I'm confident in my own ability and I don't care how good people
Yeah.
think I
Yeah,
am
yeah,
at
yeah.
it. But I think with this game, and I wasn't even the best in our out of the people that played. There was a particular person who
Mhm.
was way better than we would ever be. Um, but yeah, I think so much of it is about having to. I think as well because you also have a visual reminder, right? You have your rank on the screen, and you
Mhm.
can go, you
Mhm.
can log on and see. Oh, my, hang on, you're better at me at this role, but that's like something I spend hours doing, and you've just, you know, it makes you very self-conscious, and I think I'm
Yeah,
now trying to get better at that. I want to obviously competition is a natural like kind of human instinct, but
yeah,
I do want to prioritize doing things for me and not to be better than the rest,
yeah.
for sure.
That's good. That definitely shifted with me about tennis as well. Uh,
Hmm.
I feel like I made it my whole identity in sixth form, or well, not my whole identity, but too high a percentage of my identity, and like kind of self worth. Like if I wasn't winning matches, or if I wasn't beating everyone that I knew, it was kind of like, okay, well, this is like all I am basically. So it's like, well, what's
Exactly.
what's happening? But yeah, I got away from that, and I think just having a variety of hobbies helps as well. Like you can
Yeah.
just kind of switch off. Like if I lose a tennis match now, I just switch off and do something else. I mean, dance is great for that. Like there's never a competitive part of having like a social dance with someone. So it's good having hobbies that don't need you to be good or want to be better than people. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a nice way of putting it. Yeah. And well, I would say with tennis, there are definitely certain you'll find yourself in certain social groups where there's no question. Like you'd be able to, you could if you had to play singles with everyone there, it's going to be. But I think it's about learning to define our worth from not I think like you said, having hobbies is good, but we don't want the hobbies to be who we are almost. We just want
Mhm.
I think when we realize that so much of our character is defined about how we come across, how we present ourselves, how we talk to people, the traits like the more sort of like inert traits we have, I think that's when we start to realize that these things that we give so much importance to don't, they're not the be all and end all.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a maybe a good message to end on. But
Mm.
let's end with the same question as we started with, and maybe you might be able to give me that sentence in that final chapter. So let's return. If your life so far was a single page in a ledger or a book, what would it say?
What did I say initially? It was about this is
You said three paragraphs,
about
um,
yeah.
and your final one was maybe 18 and up, and every year feeling the same. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Um, do you know what? I think as cringe as it is, I think with every year now, I feel a little bit more understanding and purpose as to why we're here basically. I'd say
Hmm.
obviously as much as those three paragraphs might have had their ups and downs through COVID or whatever, I
Yeah.
think one thing that's gone up sort of consistently
Hmm.
is I think every day we find more and more sort of yeah, I'd say everyday life has been about finding more raw purpose.
Nice.
Sorry,
Right.
it's not as articulate as I could have wanted, but something
That's okay.
along those lines.
Thank you very much, Shivam, for being a guest on the podcast. Hopefully, it was a decent experience for you. And
Yeah, my pleasure.
yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.